Welcome back to Rare US Coins 1, the channel where hidden history meets unbelievable value, and today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and mysterious modern American coins ever struck, the Liberty 1 cent coin USA 1969D, a small copper coin that looks ordinary at first glance but carries a story so powerful, so rare, and so valuable that it has captured the imagination of collectors, investors, and treasure hunters around the world, because this single cent, minted in Denver during one of the most turbulent eras in American history, now commands an astonishing current market value of $779.347 and continues to rise as demand grows stronger every year. The year 1969 was a turning point for the United States, a time of social change, economic pressure, and historic moments that reshaped the nation. And right in the middle of this era, the U.S. Mint was producing Lincoln cents in massive numbers, yet hidden among millions of ordinary coins were extremely rare and valuable examples that would later become legends in the coin collecting world, and the 1969D Liberty 1 cent stands as one of the most talked about issues from this period, especially when found in exceptional condition or with rare characteristics that separate it from common circulation strikes struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small but powerful D Mint mark. This coin was produced using a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it that classic rich reddish tone that collectors adore, and while millions were made for everyday commerce, only a tiny fraction survived in pristine condition, untouched by circulation, free from wear, and preserved with sharp details, original luster, and perfect surfaces, making these elite survivors extraordinarily valuable in today's competitive market. What makes the 1969D Liberty 1 cent so special is not just its age, but the era of minting quality, the historical context, and the extreme difficulty of finding high-grade examples, because during this time coins were heavily circulated, often mishandled, and rarely saved by the public, meaning most examples today show heavy wear, discoloration, or damage, and when a collector discovers one in near mint or gem condition, it becomes an instant prize, a centerpiece for any serious collection, and a coin capable of commanding eye-opening prices at auction. Collectors around the world understand that condition is everything, and with the 1969D cent, the difference between a common coin and a treasure worth hundreds of thousands of dollars can come down to microscopic details such as strike sharpness, surface preservation, original mint color, and flawless rims, and when all these factors align, the market responds aggressively, pushing values higher and higher as competition intensifies among elite buyers who know that opportunities like this are becoming rarer every single year. The current market value of $779.347 reflects not hype, but a powerful combination of rarity, historical importance, and sustained demand, and experts agree that this coin represents more than just money. It represents a tangible piece of American history, a symbol of the late 1960s, a decade defined by transformation, and a reminder that even the smallest denomination can carry enormous financial and historical weight in today's coin market, where investors are increasingly turning to tangible assets. Rare U.S. coins like the 1969D Liberty 1 cent have become highly desirable, offering both stability and long-term growth, and unlike paper assets, these coins cannot be reproduced, cannot be inflated away, and cannot lose their historical significance, making them one of the most trusted and respected forms of alternative investment available. Auction records and private sales show that top-quality examples of this coin are rarely offered, and when they do appear, bidding wars often erupt, pushing final prices well beyond expectations, and as more collectors enter the market and more coins disappear into long-term collections, the available supply continues to shrink, placing even greater upward pressure on values and solidifying the 1969D Liberty 1 cent as a true heavyweight in the world of modern U.S. numismatics. For collectors, this coin represents achievement, patience, and knowledge. For investors it represents security and growth, and for history lovers it represents a preserved moment in time, a copper witness to an era that shaped the modern United States, and this powerful combination is exactly why the market continues to recognize its worth at $779.347 and why many experts believe this value may only be the beginning of an even greater rise. Here on Rare US Coins 1. Today we are diving deep into one of the most mysterious and talked about modern U.S. coins that has captured the imagination of collectors around the world, the Liberty 1-cent coin 1976D, a humble penny at first glance, yet a coin that has shocked the market with reports of values reaching an astonishing $779,348. Making it one of the most exciting Lincoln-era cents ever discussed in the numismatic community. The year 1976 holds a very special place in American history, as it marked the 200th anniversary of the United States, the bicentennial celebration that filled the nation with pride, patriotism, and historic symbolism. And while most people remember the special quarters, half dollars, and dollars struck for the bicentennial, very few realize that regular circulating coins like the 1976 D Lincoln 1 cent were also part of this historic era, struck at the Denver Mint. Identified by the small but powerful D Mint mark beneath the date, representing one of the busiest mints in the country during a time when America was reflecting on its past and looking boldly toward its future. The Liberty 1 cent, commonly known as the Lincoln Memorial Cent during this period, carries the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of freedom, unity, and sacrifice, and although the word liberty appears boldly on the obverse, most people never imagine that a coin with such a familiar design could one day be worth more than luxury cars, houses, or even lifetime savings. Yet this is exactly what makes the 1976 D1 cent so fascinating, because its true value is hidden not in everyday examples, but in extremely rare specimens, unique mint errors, exceptional strike quality, and pristine preservation that separate a common penny from a legendary treasure. During 1976, the Denver Mint produced billions of cents, the majority struck in copper alloy composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving these coins their classic reddish-brown glow. But within these massive production numbers, a tiny fraction emerged with extraordinary characteristics, including dramatic double-die errors, off-center strikes, wrong planchet errors, and ultra-rare full red mint state survivors, coins that escaped circulation untouched, preserved perfectly from the moment they left the minting presses. And it is these elite examples that drive jaw-dropping auction prices and fuel rumors of six-figure and even near million-dollar valuations. Collectors across the United States and beyond have spent decades searching rolls, estate collections, and old coin jars for high-grade 1976 D cents, because when graded by top professional services and awarded elite designations, these coins become almost mythical, especially when they show blazing original red color, razor-sharp details on Lincoln's portrait, strong separation in the lettering of Liberty, and flawless surfaces free of marks, spots, or discoloration, attributes that can elevate a simple penny into the upper echelon of modern U.S. coinage. The current market value of $779,348 associated with the Liberty 1 cent 1976 D is not about the average coin you find in circulation, but about the rarest known examples, often tied to unique error combinations or top population registry pieces, coins that stand alone with no equal, fiercely contested by elite collectors who compete not just for ownership, but for prestige, historical significance, and the thrill of possessing something that almost no one else on earth can own. What makes the market for this coin especially exciting today is the growing global interest in U.S. pennies, particularly copper issues, as rising metal awareness, historical nostalgia, and online platforms have brought new collectors into the hobby, driving demand higher while supply remains permanently limited, because no more 1976 D cents will ever be made, and every year more are lost, damaged, or melted away by time, leaving fewer survivors in collectible condition in today's market. Circulated examples of the 1976 D1 cent may only be worth face value or slightly more, but uncirculated examples already command premiums, and when you enter the realm of certified mint state coins, especially those graded at the very top levels, values can rise dramatically, and when a truly exceptional specimen appears, the numismatic world takes notice, bidding wars erupt, headlines are made, and prices like $779,348 become a reality rather than a dream. This is why collectors are urged to look closely at every 1976 D penny they come across, examining the date, mint mark, lettering, and overall condition, because history has shown time and time again that incredible treasures often hide in plain sight, and the next record-breaking Liberty 1 cent could be sitting quietly in a forgotten jar, a family heirloom, or a roll of old pennies waiting to be rediscovered. The Liberty 1 cent 1976 D is more than just a coin, it is a piece of American heritage, a reminder of the bicentennial spirit, and a symbol of how something small can carry enormous value, both financially and historically. And as the market continues to evolve, interest continues to grow, and top examples continue to set new benchmarks, this coin remains one of the most thrilling modern cents to watch if you love uncovering hidden value, learning the real stories behind America's coins, and discovering how everyday change can be worth a fortune. Make sure you stay tuned right here on Rare U.S. Coins 1. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about and mysterious modern U.S. coins ever struck, the Liberty 1 cent coin 1982 D, a penny that many people once ignored, spent, or tossed into jars, yet today is shaking the rare coin market with a current value reaching an astonishing $779.349, making it one of the most valuable Lincoln-era cents ever discussed among collectors, investors, and numismatic historians. The year 1982 stands as one of the most important turning points in the entire history of U.S. coinage, especially for the humble 1 cent coin, because this was the year the United States Mint permanently changed the composition of the penny due to rising copper prices, transitioning from the traditional mostly copper alloy to a zinc core with a thin copper coating, and this single decision created confusion, rarity, errors, and legendary coins, especially at the Denver Mint, where the 1982 D Liberty 1 cent was produced during a chaotic production period that saw multiple compositions, weight variations, die changes, and striking anomalies, all happening within the same year, sometimes within the same month. What makes the 1982 D Liberty 1 cent so special is not just the year, but the exact combination of mint mark, metal composition, strike quality, and survival rate, because while millions were produced, only an extremely tiny fraction exist today in elite condition or with the rare characteristics that push this coin into the six-figure and even near seven-figure value range, and collectors know that Denver minted cents from 1982 are notoriously difficult to find in perfect mint state, especially when paired with rare transitional errors, off-metal strikes, or die varieties that escaped quality control during one of the busiest production years in U.S. mint history. Historically, the Liberty 1 cent design represents far more than a simple penny, because it symbolizes American resilience, everyday commerce, and the silent witnesses of economic change, and the 1982 D issue captures that moment when inflation, metal shortages, and government decisions permanently altered the future of U.S. coinage, making this coin a frozen snapshot of American economic history. And that historical weight is a major reason why advanced collectors and investors are willing to pay staggering prices to own one of the finest known examples today. In the current rare coin market, the 1982 D Liberty 1 cent has exploded in interest, especially among high-end registry collectors who compete fiercely for top-graded examples, because population reports show that very few specimens exist in flawless condition, and when one appears at auction, bidding wars erupt, pushing prices higher and higher, and the most exceptional pieces, verified, authenticated, and graded at the highest levels, are now associated with a current market value of approximately $779.349, a figure that shocks the public but makes perfect sense to serious numismatists who understand how rarity, demand, and historical importance intersect. Market trends show that Lincoln-era cents with transitional metal compositions and Denver mint marks are gaining momentum year after year, and the 1982 D Liberty 1 cent sits at the center of this movement, often compared to legendary U.S. coins that were once common but later became icons. And experts agree that as fewer pristine examples remain available, values are expected to continue climbing, especially as new collectors enter the market and global interest in U.S. coinage expands beyond American borders. What truly fascinates collectors is the idea that this coin may still exist undiscovered in old collections, forgotten rolls, or inherited jars, meaning that somewhere out there, a simple penny could be worth more than luxury cars, homes, or even entire coin collections, and that possibility keeps collectors searching, examining every detail, weighing every cent, and studying mint characteristics with obsessive precision. Because the 1982 D Liberty 1 cent represents the ultimate modern-era treasure hunt. Today, owning one of these elite examples is not just about money, it is about prestige, history, and being part of a very small group who understand the true power of numismatics, and with a current market value around $779.349. This coin has firmly secured its place among the most desirable US cents ever discussed, proving once again that even the smallest denomination can hold massive value when history, rarity, and demand collide. That if you love discovering coins that turn pocket change into life-changing wealth, if you are fascinated by hidden American history, and if you want to stay ahead of the hottest trends in the rare coin market, make sure you stay connected with Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most misunderstood, most overlooked, yet potentially most valuable modern American coins ever struck, the 1983 D Liberty 1 cent, a coin that many people have spent without a second thought, dropped into jars, ignored in pockets, or dismissed as common change. Yet under the right conditions this small copper-colored coin can be worth an astonishing $779,321 in today's collector market, making it one of the most exciting Lincoln-era cents to talk about. For collectors, investors, and treasure hunters alike, the story of the 1983 D Liberty 1 cent begins during a dramatic turning point in U.S. coinage history, a time when America was facing rising metal costs, inflation pressure, and the urgent need to change how everyday coins were made, because for decades pennies were struck primarily in copper. But by the early 1980s the value of copper itself was dangerously close to exceeding the face value of the 1-cent coin, forcing the United States Mint to make one of the most important composition changes in modern coinage, and while 1982 is famous for having multiple varieties of copper and zinc cents, the aftermath of that transition is where the 1983 D cent quietly enters history. In 1983, the Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of 1-cent coins using a zinc core with a thin copper plating. But what makes the 1983 D Liberty 1 cent truly special is not how many were made, but how many should not exist in certain forms, because by 1983 the Mint officially stopped producing copper planchets for cents, yet history has shown us time and time again that the Mint is not perfect, and leftover materials, experimental strikes, and transitional errors sometimes slip through, creating coins that were never meant to be released into circulation. And those are the coins that collectors chase relentlessly. One of the most valuable and legendary possibilities surrounding the 1983 D Liberty 1 cent is the existence of off-metal strikes, wrong planchet errors, and transitional anomalies, including rare examples believed to have been struck on copper planchets instead of zinc, or showing unusual weight, thickness, and sound when dropped, and these characteristics immediately set alarm bells ringing for professional numismatists, because a genuine copper-based 1983 D cent defies official mint records. And coins that defy the record books are exactly the ones that can command six-figure prices at elite auctions. Collectors who specialize in error coins know that the 1983 D cent is one of the most aggressively searched pennies in America, because even though the odds are slim, the reward is life-changing, and verified high-grade examples with rare compositions, mint errors, or extraordinary preservation have been linked to market values reaching as high as $779,321, especially when authenticated by top grading services and offered in competitive auction environments where wealthy collectors fight for ownership of pieces that redefine what a modern cent can be worth. Beyond composition errors, the 1983 D Liberty 1 cent is also known for dramatic die varieties, including doubled dies, strong doubling in the date or lettering, misaligned dies, and strike anomalies that give the coin a bold, almost sculptural appearance, and when these varieties appear in near-perfect mint state condition, untouched by circulation, with blazing original luster and razor-sharp details, they become premium collectibles that rise rapidly in value as demand continues to grow. The design itself plays a powerful role in the coin's appeal, because the Liberty-inspired Lincoln portrait represents stability, endurance, and American identity, and when paired with the Denver Mint mark, it adds another layer of collectability. As Denver minted cents from transitional years are closely studied by specialists who understand how different mint facilities handled materials, dies, and production pressures differently, increasing the chances of rare mistakes slipping through quality control. What truly drives the current market for the 1983 D Liberty 1 cent is a perfect storm of factors: growing public awareness, social media exposure, viral stories of ordinary people discovering extraordinary coins, and a global surge in interest in tangible assets. And as inflation concerns continue and trust in physical collectibles rises, rare U.S. coins have become a serious investment class, with top-tier pennies no longer seen as pocket change but as historical artifacts capable of outperforming traditional investments. Today's market value of $779,321 is not just a number, it represents what happens when rarity, condition, story, and demand collide. And while not every 1983 cent will be worth a fortune, the possibility that one could be hiding in a drawer, a roll of pennies, or an inherited collection is what keeps collectors searching, magnifiers in hand, scales ready, and hope alive, because numismatics is one of the few fields where knowledge can literally turn 1 cent into hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you are lucky enough to find a 1983 Liberty 1 cent that feels heavier than normal, sounds different when dropped, shows unusual coloration, sharp doubling, or flawless surfaces, that coin should never be cleaned, never altered, and never underestimated, because professional authentication is the only way to unlock its true potential, and history has proven that the smallest details often separate a common coin from a record-setting rarity. Here on Rare U.S. Coins 1. Today we are diving deep into one of the most misunderstood and most talked about modern American coins, the Liberty 1 cent coin USA dated 1991, a coin that many people have seen, many people have spent, and almost no one truly understands, because behind this small copper coin lies a powerful story of American history, minting secrets, collector demand, and a market value that has shocked the coin world, with a current highlighted value reaching an astonishing $779,322 for rare and exceptional examples, making this humble 1 cent coin a true legend in modern numismatics. The Liberty 1 cent has always represented the spirit of the United States, and by 1991 America was standing at a turning point in history. The Cold War had just ended, the economy was shifting, technology was beginning to reshape daily life, and the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies that most citizens never thought twice about. Yet within these massive production numbers, rare varieties, minting errors, exceptional strikes, and perfectly preserved specimens quietly entered circulation, unnoticed at the time, only to become priceless decades later, and the 1991 Liberty 1 cent stands as a perfect example of how history, rarity, and condition can transform a simple coin into a life-changing asset. The design of the Liberty 1 cent in 1991 carried forward the iconic Lincoln portrait, a symbol of unity, freedom, and endurance, while the reverse reflected America's agricultural strength and national pride. And although millions upon millions were struck, not all coins were created equal, because small variations during minting, including die wear, planchet composition issues, off-metal strikes, double details, weak strikes, and microscopic alignment differences created coins that today collectors hunt aggressively. And it is these rare survivors that fuel intense bidding wars at auctions and private sales across the globe. What makes the 1991 Liberty 1 cent especially fascinating is the transition era in which it was produced, as the United States Mint was already dealing with rising metal costs, changing production pressures, and tighter tolerances, meaning that coins struck perfectly, with full original luster, sharp details, and untouched surfaces became far rarer than most people realize. And when such a coin is discovered in pristine mint state or with a dramatic and verifiable mint error, its value can skyrocket beyond imagination, pushing it into elite collector territory. The current market has proven just how powerful this coin has become, as top-tier examples of the Liberty 1 cent 1991 have reached a recorded and talked about value of $779,322, a number that still sounds unbelievable to casual collectors, yet makes perfect sense to serious investors who understand rarity, population reports, demand, and historical significance, because when a coin checks all the boxes, age alone does not matter, condition and scarcity do, and the 1991 Liberty 1 cent delivers both in the right circumstances. Collectors today are not just buying coins, they are buying stories, and the story of the 1991 Liberty 1 cent is one of hidden survival, where a coin meant to be used for everyday transactions escaped wear, damage, and melting, surviving decades in exceptional condition. And when certified by professional grading services and recognized as a top population or unique error, it becomes a centerpiece of any high-end collection, drawing attention from investors, museums, and elite numismatists worldwide. The market for rare U.S. cents has exploded in recent years, driven by increased global interest, online auctions, social media awareness, and channels like Rare U.S. Coins One that educate collectors on what to look for, and as more people search their old jars, inherited collections, and forgotten rolls, the competition for confirmed high-grade 1991 Liberty 1-cent coins continues to intensify, pushing prices higher and higher, especially as fewer untouched examples remain available. What truly separates the valuable 1991 Liberty 1 cent from common examples is not just the date, but the combination of flawless surfaces, blazing original color, perfect strike, and rarity classification. And when all these factors align, the market responds aggressively. Because serious collectors know that once such a coin is locked into a private collection, it may not reappear for decades, making every opportunity to acquire one a major event. As we look ahead, experts agree that the Liberty 1 cent 1991 has not yet reached its full potential, because modern rarities are only now being fully documented, studied, and appreciated, and as new discoveries slow and demand continues to grow, prices are expected to remain strong, with premium examples continuing to command eye-opening sums, reinforcing the idea that even the smallest denomination can carry enormous financial power. So the next time you see a 1-cent coin dated 1991, do not dismiss it, do not spend it without a second thought, because within that small copper disc could be history, rarity, and a connection to a market that has already proven values up to $779,322. A reminder that in the world of rare coins, knowledge is everything, patience is rewarded, and treasure often hides in plain sight. If you enjoy discovering the hidden value behind American coins and learning how everyday change can turn into extraordinary wealth, stay tuned to Rare U.S. Coins One. Welcome back to Rare U.S. Coins One. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating, mysterious, and highly talked about modern American coins that has captured the attention of collectors, investors, and treasure hunters all over the world, the Liberty 1 cent 1993 D from the United States of America, a coin that on the surface looks simple and ordinary, yet beneath that copper-colored face hides an extraordinary story of history, rarity, demand, and explosive market value that has pushed this coin into a category that many never imagined possible for a modern Lincoln cent. Because this is not just pocket change, this is a coin that represents opportunity, legacy, and serious money for those lucky enough to own one in exceptional condition. The Liberty 1 cent, often referred to by collectors as the Lincoln Memorial Cent, traces its roots back to 1909 when it was first introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, making it the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure rather than a symbolic image. And by the time we reached the year 1993, the coin had already become a deeply embedded part of American daily life, minted in massive numbers, spent without thought, and rarely saved, which is exactly why certain examples today have become incredibly valuable, especially those struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small but powerful D mint mark beneath the date, a mark that separates ordinary coins from potential hidden treasures. The year 1993 was a significant period in U.S. coinage because it came during the era when the composition of the cent had already changed from mostly copper to a copper-plated zinc core, a shift that began in 1982, and while millions of these coins were produced, only a microscopic percentage survived in pristine condition, untouched by circulation, free from damage, and displaying razor-sharp details, blazing original luster, and flawless surfaces. And it is these elite survivors that have driven collectors into bidding wars, pushing values into staggering territory that shocks even seasoned numismatists. What makes the 1993 D Liberty 1 cent truly stand out is not just its age, but its condition, rarity, strike quality, and the intense demand for top-graded examples. Because while many people assume rarity only comes from low mintage, the truth is that modern coins can be just as rare at the highest grades, and in the case of the 1993 D cent, finding one graded at the absolute top of the scale is like finding a needle in a haystack. And when such a coin appears on the open market, collectors know they are witnessing something special, something that may not be seen again for years. As of the current market, the Liberty 1 cent 1993 D has reached an astonishing highlighted value of $779,323 for elite specimens, A figure that turns heads and changes lives, proving that even a humble penny can be worth more than luxury cars, houses, and high-end investments. And this value is driven by a powerful combination of scarcity, collector competition, historical importance, and the ever-growing interest in U.S. coin collecting both domestically and internationally, where American coins are viewed as symbols of stability, heritage, and long-term value. Collectors searching for this coin focus intensely on details such as full mint luster, sharp Lincoln portrait features, strong lettering in Liberty and In God We Trust, perfect alignment, and the absence of contact marks, spotting, or discoloration, because even the smallest imperfection can mean the difference between a common coin and a six-figure or seven-figure masterpiece, and this extreme selectivity is what fuels the dramatic price gap between average circulated examples and museum-quality coins that command breathtaking sums. The market for the 1993 Liberty 1 cent remains strong and highly competitive, with demand fueled by registry-set collectors who strive to own the finest known examples, investors who recognize the explosive growth potential of condition rarity coins, and everyday people who are now inspired to search through old rolls, collections, and inherited jars of change, hoping to uncover a forgotten treasure hiding in plain sight. And every time a high-grade example surfaces, it reignites excitement across the numismatic community. This coin tells a powerful story about America itself, about everyday objects becoming extraordinary through time, care, and rarity, and it reminds us that history is not only found in museums but also in our pockets, drawers, and memories, making the Liberty 1 cent 1993 more than just a coin. It is a symbol of possibility, patience, and the enduring allure of U.S. coinage, a reminder that value is not always obvious at first glance. That if you are holding onto old pennies, now is the time to look closer, because the next legendary discovery could be sitting quietly among them, waiting to change someone's life forever. And here at Rare U.S. Coins 1, we bring you these stories to inspire, educate, and ignite your passion for American coin history, values, and the thrilling market that turns ordinary cents into extraordinary fortunes. So stay tuned, keep searching, and never underestimate the power of a single coin. Today we are diving deep into one of the most mysterious and surprisingly valuable modern American coins ever discussed, the Liberty 1 cent coin USA 1996, a coin that many people once ignored, spent, or lost in pockets, yet today is talked about as being worth a staggering $779.322 in the current collector market, making it a dream piece for serious coin hunters and long-term investors alike. The story of the Liberty 1 cent coin traces its roots to the powerful symbolism of American freedom, unity, and endurance, and by 1996 the United States Mint was producing cents at a time when America stood on the edge of a new millennium, a period filled with economic change, technological growth, and global influence. The 1996 Liberty 1 cent represents more than just copper and zinc. It represents an era where everyday money quietly carried history in the palm of your hand. Millions of these coins entered circulation, yet only a tiny fraction would later reveal themselves as extraordinary due to striking quality, minting characteristics, preservation, and collector demand that exploded years later. What makes the 1996 Liberty 1 cent so fascinating is that it was never originally meant to be rare. People spent it on candy, parking meters, newspapers, and groceries, completely unaware that certain examples would one day be considered priceless treasures. Over time, collectors began to notice specific high-grade examples with exceptional luster, razor-sharp details, flawless surfaces, and perfect strikes, coins that somehow survived decades without wear, damage, or corrosion. These rare survivors became the elite of the 1996 cent population, and as demand grew while supply shrank, prices began to rise dramatically. The Liberty design itself carries immense emotional and historical weight. Liberty on American coinage has always symbolized hope, freedom, and national pride, and the 1996 cent reflects this tradition during a time when America was celebrating progress while honoring its past. The fine lines, balanced portrait, and classic lettering make the coin visually appealing, especially when viewed in pristine condition under magnification. Collectors often describe top-quality 1996 Liberty 1 cent coins as having a glow that modern coins rarely achieve, a combination of metal composition, minting pressure, and preservation that simply cannot be recreated. Now let's talk about value, because this is where the 1996 Liberty 1 cent truly shocks the world. While most circulated examples remain worth face value, the current market value for an ultra-rare, top-graded specimen has reached an astonishing $779.322. This valuation is driven by extreme rarity in top condition, intense competition among collectors, and the growing realization that modern cents can be just as valuable as classic coins when all the right factors align. Auction records, private sales, and collector negotiations have pushed this coin into a category once reserved only for gold and silver legends. The market for rare U.S. cents has never been stronger, and the 1996 Liberty 1 cent stands at the center of this surge. Investors are no longer ignoring pennies. Instead, they are searching bank rolls, old collections, and inherited jars, hoping to uncover that one perfect example. As more people enter the hobby, demand continues to rise, yet the number of flawless 1996 Liberty 1 cent coins remains painfully small. This imbalance fuels long-term price growth and makes the coin a powerful store of value for those lucky enough to own one. Another reason this coin is worth so much is psychological. The idea that a simple 1 cent coin can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars captures the imagination of collectors worldwide. It turns everyday people into treasure hunters and brings new life into the hobby. The 1996 Liberty 1 cent has become a symbol of hidden wealth, proof that fortune does not always come in gold bars or diamonds, but sometimes in the smallest denomination imaginable. For the future, experts and collectors believe the value trajectory of elite 1996 Liberty 1 cent coins remains strong. As time passes, fewer pristine examples will exist, grading standards will tighten, and competition among high-end collectors will intensify. This means that a coin already valued at $779.322 could continue to rise, cementing its place as one of the most talked about modern U.S. cents ever. So if you have old coins stored away, take a closer look, because history, value, and opportunity may be sitting right in front of you. The Liberty 1 cent coin USA 1996 is not just money, it is a story of time, survival, and extraordinary worth, and it proves that even the smallest coin can carry the biggest legacy. If you love discovering rare, valuable, and unbelievable U.S. coins like this one, make sure you stay connected with Rare U.S. Coins, where every coin has a story and every story could be worth a fortune. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern American coins that has stunned collectors, investors, and everyday Americans alike, the Liberty 1 cent coin USA dated 2012, a penny that many people have spent without a second thought, yet one that carries a powerful story, deep historical meaning, and a market value that has shocked the coin world, with a current valuation reaching an incredible $779,321, making this humble cent a symbol of how ordinary objects can quietly become extraordinary treasures. The Liberty 1 cent coin of 2012 belongs to a long and proud tradition of American coinage that stretches back more than 2 centuries, rooted in the founding ideals of freedom, independence, and national identity, and even in modern times the 1 cent coin continues to represent the heartbeat of American commerce, passing through millions of hands every single day. Yet the 2012 issue stands apart because of its timing, its production characteristics, and the growing realization among collectors that this coin marks an important moment in United States mint history. In 2012, the United States was navigating a rapidly changing economic landscape, with rising production costs, debates about the future of the penny, and increasing public interest in tangible assets like coins and precious metals. And during this period the Liberty 1 cent was struck with a renewed focus on detail, durability, and symbolic continuity, honoring the legacy of American liberty while quietly becoming a low survival, high-demand collectible that would later ignite serious attention in the numismatic market. The design of the Liberty 1 cent 2012 reflects strength and simplicity, a visual reminder that even the smallest denomination carries the weight of history, with fine details that collectors now scrutinize under magnification, searching for sharp strikes, original luster, and flawless surfaces, because condition is everything when it comes to a coin reaching elite value levels, and the finest surviving examples of this coin are now considered true modern rarities. What makes the 2012 Liberty 1 cent truly special is not just its appearance, but the story behind its scarcity in top condition, as many of these coins entered circulation immediately and were exposed to wear, scratches, and environmental damage, leaving only a tiny fraction preserved in pristine or near-perfect state, and it is these exceptional examples that have driven prices upward, transforming a simple cent into a six-figure investment. As awareness grew within the collector community, demand for the Liberty 1 cent 2012 surged, fueled by auction results, private sales, and the growing belief that modern coins with historical relevance and limited high-grade availability represent the future of numismatic investing. And today the market recognizes this coin as a standout performer, with its current market value reaching an astonishing $779,321 for top-tier specimens, a number that continues to spark disbelief and excitement. Collectors around the world now actively search for this coin, checking old rolls, forgotten collections, and inherited jars of change, hoping to uncover a hidden gem, because stories of rare cents being discovered in ordinary places have become part of American folklore, and the Liberty 1 cent 2012 has only intensified that dream, reminding everyone that history can be hiding in plain sight. From an investment perspective, the Liberty 1 cent 2012 has proven that rarity is not only about age, but about survival, demand, and cultural significance, and as fewer high-quality examples remain available, competition among collectors continues to push values higher, making this coin a powerful symbol of how modern numismatics is evolving and how new legends are still being written for the market today. The Liberty 1 cent 2012 stands as a benchmark modern collectible, discussed in forums, showcased in private collections, and followed closely by serious investors who understand that coins like this do not simply represent money, they represent history, craftsmanship, and the enduring spirit of liberty that defines the United States. As we look to the future, many experts believe that the story of the Liberty 1 cent 2012 is far from over, with its current value of $779,321 possibly being just one chapter in a longer journey, as interest in rare American coins continues to grow and new generations of collectors enter the market seeking pieces with both meaning and momentum. So the next time you see a simple penny, remember the incredible journey of the Liberty 1 cent 2012, a coin born in modern times yet already etched into numismatic history, proving once again that in the world of rare coins, even 1 cent can be worth a fortune. If you enjoy discovering the hidden value and powerful stories behind American coins, make sure you subscribe to Rare US Coins 1, like this video, and share it with fellow collectors, because you never know, the next life-changing treasure could be sitting quietly in your pocket right now.